Hey everybody, thank you very much for joining us. I have the pleasure to introduce K-Camp and Genius. Hopefully our audience today is already familiar with their music, not least of all Lottery, Renegade, but we're not here to talk today about the music itself. It's there. Go listen to it if you haven't already. They've both got quite a catalog. What we're here to talk about today for our audience is the journey of going from artist to entrepreneur. So to start out with, could you talk a little bit about how you guys met?
You want to take it away? I'll take it away if you're. I met Camp back in college. I was a party promoter, saying in college, doing concerts, and I booked him. He came in and he just, saying, it was a different energy. Like, bro came in and just killed it. And from that moment, I kind of knew bro had it. So after college, we were both back in Atlanta grinding on the music scene. I was just in the club DJing, trying to help break his records till everything kind of took off. And from there, it was kind of history.
And when I got my first start, when I say I got my first intro into the music industry, I told him, when I pop, I'm gonna make you my DJ. And I kept my word, and we went on tour, In Due Time tour, when I dropped the In Due Time album, and the rest was history.
That sounds like a good start, and you've been working together ever since.
Then we've been what 6 years in?
Yep.
It's been about, damn.
It's been a set.
It's been a minute.
So, I mean, as people probably know, you started out making mixtapes, then Interscope Records, but throughout all of that, you've released independently by whether that's putting out mixtape to having the power of Interscope Records behind you. What was that like? What was that journey like as both a musician and then also as an entrepreneur?
It was a long one. Let's start off by saying that one. It was a long one. But it taught me the ins and outs of the game and how to create a fan base and how to really establish myself as an artist that the people will respect instead of just a single-driven artist that just get one hit and he's out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because we see that plenty of times in this game. So, just dropping project after project, it just taught me how to format. It taught me how to what audience to attack and just how to elevate my career. You know what I'm saying? It was all a grassroots thing. Like, we started from the bottom of it, and we, over the years, through the mistakes, and you just keep building, you keep dropping, you keep building the fan base, and you just keep going from there.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is on the mixtape circuit, you get a chance to really like explore your artistry and explore, we come from Atlanta, it's that hustler mentality. Like, we grew up seeing people selling CDs out of cars. Right. That's what we kind of grew up seeing. So it pushes in the direction of independence from the start, because we saw people selling CDs and making money off CDs, whether it's the trunk of your car, whether it's, I remember back in high school, I was selling CDs. So it put us in the mindset of hustling. Your music can make money for you, in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So from the get-go, entrepreneurial, I mean, how you met, it was always sort of part of the program. That's kind of how you're saying it. And it's you've learned as you go along. Yep. So that learning, I mean, not a lot of artists out there have necessarily seen the inside of how a major label works, for instance. I mean, and you had that experience. What can you speak to that in that experience made you think, you know what, there's more we can do here, that you decided to step up in the way you have in a business sense?
You got to look at it like this. Ain't nobody gonna babysit you. You know what I'm saying? In the game, or, just as a grown man, you got to understand this is a business, and you got to do what's best for your business. Like, you can sign to a label and think your whole career is made. And that's, and you think that's the least of your worries, but that's pretty much all your worries. You know what I'm saying? It's like me, for instance, I went to my label thinking, oh, I made it. I don't got to do nothing else. I didn't work hard for years. I didn't did the mixtape scene. I done did every little scene possible. I'm signed. My life is great. My family is taken care of. You know what I'm saying? In the first, couple months, they'll feed that to you, and they have you feeling that. But then the real business started to kick in, and you start to understand what this game really is. You know what I'm saying? 90% business, 10% music, what they say, right? So it's like, if you don't get in there and learn and figure out for yourself and understand what this game is really made of, you can get easily chewed out and just tossed to the side. But us in particular, we didn't want that to happen. We seen the bigger picture. We seen the bigger vision of we can't let our careers and our life be in somebody else's hand. We got to take control and get in the driver's seat and turn up as far as we want to go. As far as we see ourselves, we had to jump in the driver's seat and take it there. So with that mentality, if you keep that and you really just research the game, learn the game, and really do your, you know what I'm saying, real in-depth research and figure out where you want to take it. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say the sky's the limit no more, because that don't even make sense to me no more. The sky is past the, you know what I'm saying? We on Pluto.
And I feel like you were saying, Patrick, like when we went through the major label system, like what me and Camp really did was learn, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like how we linked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We figured out that Music Ally was like a platform that teaches musicians and entrepreneurs how to kind of do it in the digital age, because we learned it from kind of like the old ways, right? It was like the clubs, the DJs, the radio, all that type of stuff. And we saw a lot of that stuff. We came like right before the pre-streaming era. So our model of business was different. It was just like go in the club, get it to the DJs, get it to the radio station, radio budgets, and you could kind of break from a grassroots level. After going through the major label system, you see this a lot more about what's your deal looking like, first of all. What, you know, saying how much are they investing in your career? You know, say how many albums you got, those type of specifics, and just finding out the different departments at the label, whether it's the digital team, whether it's somebody that's on the sync side. So I feel like when we was with a major, we were very conscious of learning the game on a big level at the same time. So I think after we went through that phase, we realized that we could kind of simulate that, because we had already had like a business model. We just had to kind of upgrade it into this new
system,
digital streaming era.
Do you think that's something like specific to your genre? Like, I mean, you've talked about that being part of day one of, you know, being out there hustling, people selling CDs. Do you feel like that's specific to the genre, or is that something that's across all music?
It's hard to say. It seems really like something a little bit more specific to hip hop, because I really do believe that when it comes to like certain pop artists and like I think like country may be predominantly still radio driven, merge driven, rock is still tour driven.
Different blueprints.
So it's different blueprints across the board. A lot of it too is like end of the day is like how much money is being spent, you know, so you can skip a lot of steps depending on what your budget is actually looking like.
Your budget, if your budget is healthy, you're in good hands.
So you kind of like switch between talking about musician and business person and entrepreneur. And I think that there's been a bit of a mantra like within the music industry of like artists as entrepreneurs. It makes sense and it's easy. As in all artists should be entrepreneurs. And I would say from my personal experience, it doesn't necessarily feel like all artists are going to be able to be entrepreneurs. I mean, have you all seen that? And can you like talk to that at all about this idea that every artist should be an entrepreneur? What does it actually take to cross over and do that?
Artists, I mean, it just like, I feel like with us, like we said, we had a background that was kind of entrepreneurial. Like even before the music, you know what I'm saying, we were kind of in the same lane. Like Camp was throwing events in Atlanta, I was throwing events. So we had businesses going. So it's kind of like was in our DNA. Some artists, it's just, they don't understand the risk. Like we understood risk from early. Like we understood putting up $50,000 on a party, booking an event, and it rained and it just flops. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you lose it. So you're kind of like risk, the music industry, artists as an entrepreneur, they don't understand the risk of what goes into it. Like everybody's not ready to put 100,000 on a record and lose it and be able to just go back to the studio the next day and be like, let's just run it up again and do it again. So I think that is, I don't think they understand the barriers to entry as far as, you know, in truly, whether it's a JV with a label or whether it's you're fully independent. Like we're fully independent. So we're all the way from studio to distribution, to label, to marketing, to digital. So a lot of people don't understand what that actually entails, whether you're going to keep that business in-house, whether you're going to outsource that. How is that going to look for your overall overhead versus music royalties coming in way down the line and having that initial investment to be able to float your business all the way to your royalty payments come in as a label. I don't think a lot of artists truly understands just the risk of it all.
If you're not gonna put the money up, don't get in this game.
So do you think coming in as an artist and sort of say crossing over, though it sounds like it's been inherent in what you've done always, Do you feel like there was challenges? There's certainly a challenge being accepted as an artist, as a credible artist. Do you think there were also like a further set of challenges of, okay, I've established that, but also being established and taken seriously as a business person?
Of course, it's just like it's like starting over. It's like step one, you know what I'm saying? As far as being an artist, you know what I'm saying? Now the folks in the business world got to respect you as a businessman, you know what I'm saying? Because they still looking at you as the artist, you know what I'm saying? Person that make rap music, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? They still looking at you in that light. So I feed off that. I feed off that type of energy just to, you know what I'm saying? I love proving myself. I love proving people wrong. I love just challenging myself to new lanes where, you know what I'm saying, I can learn more, I can experience more, you know what I'm saying, and make as much revenue for the company as I can, you know what I'm saying, and putting my artists in position to become superstars and be bigger than K Camp, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. But I'm ready, you know. This is what I do, you know what I'm saying. I thrive off of it. I can't wait to see what 2021 looking like. Even though the world is crazy right now, I can't wait to see what the label is looking like for 21. You know what I'm saying? Cause we have done so much in the short period of time with little to nothing. Just, you know what I'm saying, off hustle, off knowledge, off just faith, you know, and just really putting in the work and understanding what we got to do to get to the next level. So, you know, it's looking real gorgeous for Rare Sound in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think the respect will come. Like you said, we come from understanding, like, so for example, like when we're coming up, it was always like an intermediary person between, like, you could be the biggest in Atlanta, but you had to know somebody, you know what I'm saying, that was kind of like to get you to that conversation with the majors, because they're not, even if you're out here hustling and doing it, they're not necessarily looking at you as an entrepreneur, especially in hip hop, because in hip hop is so much, I feel like, negative connotations that go with some of the music. Sometimes it makes the industry look at young entrepreneurs like, can we take that risk if we're a major label, like giving them $100 million or $10 million to trust that they will make, that this will investment, they will make it into something profitable. So I think there's always that kind of stigma, especially in hip hop, but I think it's changing. Thank you, Jay-Z.
Thank you. Call me.
So Rare Sound. You're obviously at Rare Studios right now. Rare Sound's a label. What is Rare Sound, and where did this come from?
Rare Sound is a lifestyle, man. It was created in LA, I think around 2016, the end of 2016, when we had moved to LA, and we understood that without getting back to Atlanta, it'd be a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying? We had to get back to Atlanta, connect with the culture, and during that time, we called ourselves slumlords. You know what I'm saying? And we was based off a different, you know what I'm saying, it was a different perception of how we was moving. We was wild, we was young, we was drinking, we was partying, we were just, and I knew in order for us to evolve, we had to change the brand. We had to become more universal. We had to become something that everybody can connect to. And you know what I'm saying? It took weeks to really just figure out what it was gonna be. And when I looked myself in the mirror, not literally, but I had to understand who I was as an artist. I had to understand who I was to understand what this, you know what I'm saying, what the future was. And I looked at myself as a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? I don't be in the clout. You know what I'm saying? I don't do the extra. I do my music. I stay in my lane. I understand who I am as a person. And that's rare. You know what I'm saying? That's rare for a person to understand, know themselves, and know what's good for them, what's bad for them. And as a whole, it's just like the rare thing it just rung a bell, you know. And we ran with the rare shit in LA, and we came back to Atlanta, and we hit, you know what I'm saying, we hit the ground running. In 2017, I dropped a mixtape called Rare. That was the first, that was like the intro. And we fed off the rare. We fed off of it, and it became Rare Sound, and it became Rare, you know what I'm saying?
It was a building over time.
It was a building over time, and everything we do is just rare, you know what I'm saying? We like to stay on that vibe and until the world, because you can be doing something for so long and nobody understand it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep building on the shit. You got to keep drilling it in folks' head today. So something just mega just happened. They be like, oh,
that's rare.
That's rare. I get it. I finally get the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being persistent. It's all about being consistent. You know what I'm saying? It's just, stand true to what you believe in.
Yeah.
Like, just don't. If we was on this rare shit, all of a sudden we'd be like, yeah, we Panera Bread. Now I'm looking at a Panera Bread bag. We Panera Bread boys. You know what I'm saying? Folks be like, what the hell y'all on? You know what I'm saying? You got to stay on the path, and keep delivering the message until the world understands what you is. And
that's what Rare is about.
That's what Rare is.
I think that's it stood for what we've been through as entrepreneurs and artists too. It's just like, it's so many people try to go from the artist to entrepreneur lane, but don't really understand how rare it is to be successful in both, and just to be able to establish a label in the 2016, 2017, and then be able to curve our whole record deal situation, first of all, and then come back with a gold single in a whole new digital world, like really breaking the whole TikTok thing and figuring out all the digital, thanks to Music Ally too, and really figuring out how to really exist as a label in this digital world, whether it's all the Uprising platform. I feel like we're always being rare in how we approach our releases. We're not like trying to just do radio because everybody does radio. We're not trying to just, like now everybody wants to do TikTok. TikTok, it happened. You know what I'm saying? It'll still work, but it happened. It's just like we're thinking about what's the next rare thing to break the True Story G's or the Lil Bird, or to break Camp's next record. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is through video games and the live streaming industry. That's just a gem. I'm not going too deep into that, but I think that's the next wave to really do something. So even that is rare. We're always thinking about rare concepts that we could do as a company.
And the brand got to stand out.
And the brand got to be rare.
Everything, when it comes down to the cover art, to the album covers, to everything branding wise, it gotta be different from your average Joe, your average artist who's just doing this. We want to stand out. We want, when we announce a project or we say we about to drop something, we need the folks look at that art and be like, God damn it, they did it again.
That's
you know
rare.
What I'm saying? That's rare. They keep killing it. They keep, you know what I'm saying? It's just about being consistent, man, and standing on top of your brand and just knowing what you want.
I mean, there's something that's always stood out to me, talking about musically, but lyrically, that a lot of artists, a lot of rappers out there sort of give it the, I'm on top and you can't have this. And I feel like you've often had a more of a, come on, like show me what you got, bring it forward. Have you seen that as well in a business sense as well, of, people, trying to come after, and is that how you surround yourself with the Rare family and the family and the business people and artists that you do?
Yeah, if we talking about people around me in Rare Sound, I'm willing to give all the gems. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hide no information. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because when I came up, nobody told me.
Nobody told us. That propels.
No. You feel me? So I know what I went through as an artist, and I know that just that pain and that whole long stretch and how I felt running my situation. I don't want nobody on my roster to ever feel like I felt. You know what I'm saying? It's like we trying to transition the game to fair deals. You know what I'm saying? And everybody can make money. Everybody can feed their families. Everybody can, you know what I'm saying, take this shit to a whole nother level wherever they're trying to reach. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this shit about. You know what I'm saying? You can't be too greedy with this shit. You become too greedy, your operation shuts down. You know what I'm saying? It becomes toxic and it trickles down. You know what I'm saying? So for my artists, if anything, they need any type of gem, any type of, hey, what's this? I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you. Because I'm still learning. I'm a sponge. I'm learning this shit as well. I'm still growing and trying to figure this shit out. So why not put the next person in position so they can teach the next, you know what I'm saying? Each one, reach one?
Teach one, reach one?
Teach one, reach one. You know what I'm saying?
That's our whole philosophy kind of. It's just like the amount of time that we had to go through to learn the game, because we felt like connections was all kind of hidden from us. Like I guess it's like it was in the previous thing, I felt like it was like a hip hop thing to just kind of hold everything at the top. Mm-hmm. But our whole model is just keeping it fair. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want everybody over here is an entrepreneur. Everybody over here has really good deals where they could be entrepreneurs, where they could start their own labels, where they could develop their own artists. You know what I'm saying? That option is there for everybody that signs to Rare Sound. We don't really believe in the conventional locking artists into $1 million-year deals, because we want artists to be able to come over here and develop and learn and then be able to take that on. If you look at Lil Wayne and then what he's done for Nicki Minaj and then Drake, and Drake, what Drake has done for OVO, and it just continues. You know,
there'd be no Drake and Nicki if Lil Wayne was selfish.
Exactly. You can't.
There'll be no Drake. We would never know who Drake and Nicki was if Lil Wayne was selfish with his success.
So part of that is, you know, there's a lot of businesses out there in the music industry, and fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of those don't come from artists. They come from people very far away from the journey that you had, from actually being able to understand that. Is there something to that you feel like makes Rare Sound stand up against, you know, any other label that might be out there, or any other studio that might be out there? I mean, is there something to the artistry that you feel like you bring to the table that a lot of folks can't?
I'm the GOAT.
Definitely. Like,
I do this shit, man. I do this shit. When it comes to the music, I do it.
We start everything with the music at Rare Sound. I think that's our business model. It's just like we scrutinize the music to the T. You know what I'm saying, probably to the level of TDE with Kendrick and them, you know what I'm saying. We really focus on first the music and then focus on the message that our artists have to give to the world. Because a lot of the time too, it's just like a lot of people make music and record labels come from the business side. It's a catalog game. It's kind of like the value of the assets in my catalog as a record label. And that is from the business side, I do respect that, because that's just being an entrepreneur. That's
you gotta respect both sides.
You have to respect both sides. That's one day we feel like we're going to be in the positions where we have to make those really big catalog hoarding decisions. Hopefully not soon, but one day, you know what I'm saying, we're going to become those big businesses, because it's all capital in big business. You can't escape that. One day we're going to have to become those people. So it's not like, with us, we understand that we have something special because we scrutinize the creativity in the music. So we'll always make great partners to those big record labels or those big studios. We're never like trying to just be like not partners. We grew our business from developing strong partnerships with different firms and different labels, and we never want to be kind of like those guys that you can't do business with, you don't want to partner with. We always want to keep it like we understand something special about the music and how we're developing artists, and we're willing to do partnerships to grow that.
So you've also, I mean, talked about being around when, well, people selling CDs to the pre-streaming era, and then here we're obviously in 2020. I mean, have you seen the sort of shift in technology and in the industry? Do you feel like that's helped you or helped pave the way for you to be able to do what you're doing with Rare Sound?
Definitely. I feel like that's a major part of it. I feel like one of the strongest aspects of our business is the digital. I personally took some time after I saw the game changing and worked on a lot of the developing the playlist and building out a playlist network, building out viral networks on Twitter to kind of support our acts and our artists. So I feel like it has definitely been an advantage for us, especially like taking those early Music Ally courses, diving into all the sandboxes. Like I do a lot of that deep diving into previous campaigns, and I want to always know how the game is changing digitally, because that's the world we live in now, especially with this pandemic hitting. Like it's just like if you didn't see this coming, or you didn't see how digital was going to take over the music, you almost be like non-existent right now as a label, as a hip hop label in the game. So I feel like it has given us a unique advantage. And also too, I had a tech background before coming into music, so it just was the perfect alignment. I felt like I was the guy on LimeWire downloading music and selling CDs and had the only high-speed connection in my neighborhood and doing all that type of stuff. So it's just like understanding and seeing the change and how the industry had been able to take back the game and monetize the game from all the losses that was going on, from the fraudulent downloads and the duplication of CDs. I'm so excited for the future of the music business, because I feel like once a lot of the developing markets come online, once you see what's happening in Africa, you see how hard the Afrobeat movement is coming. You see once India goes online, what that's doing for certain DSPs in that market. So I'm just really excited on the globalization growth of the digital spaces music. I feel like it's going to be really profitable if we could secure ourselves on a global level. So music first, great foundation. Obviously, as you've said, business from the very beginning. And then also embracing technology and the change in the industry. So all of those
Do you find that those help when you're negotiating within the industry, that people are sometimes like, whoa, these guys know, like, is that something that happens quite a lot?
Or they'd be surprised when they figure out how our operation moves.
I think Camp always says it best. I feel like at one point, you know, we were just staring at a curtain in the music industry, and we somehow happened to like pull the curtain back and saw all the inner workings of what was going on behind it. So when we start talking about the inner workings of what we understand, then it just becomes a whole nother conversation when it comes to deal flow. Because obviously, if we have a powerful digital system already in-house, if we already have the studio and we produce all the records here and we cut all the records here, then the conversation has to be different off the jump.
No limit.
So you're not going looking for recording budgets and trying to get someone to in your recording.
We need joint ventures. We need JVs. Even though one of the people I look up to in the music industry is just like, we're actually on a level now where we want to build the next Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? We want to be one of those majors. I would hate to set a ceiling cap on just like a JV situation. Of course, you have to go through those to build. But we want to establish ourselves as the new Cash Money, the new Def Jam, the new 300.
Just the biggest.
Just one of the biggest.
The biggest. Just let's say the biggest.
That sounds good. So how do you all, especially in a streaming era where it's so easy for someone to drop an artist's name, pop them into Spotify and go, oh, okay, well, that's how many streams they've got. And streams have sort of become this metric of success. How do you measure success?
Impact.
Shows, tours.
Real world impact.
Who at your shows? How many, if you really selling out, you really got fans out there that's going to buy your merch, buy your tickets, and throw bras and panties on stage.
Star power.
And is that sort of core to everything that Rare Sound does? It's much bigger than just a number, but it's about engagement.
Definitely about engagement. Definitely. I'm all about engagement.
Even to like going back to how we study music and how music break is like coming from Atlanta. A music artist could just start out in his neighborhood and convince everybody in his neighborhood, like, I record this song. Everybody in my neighborhood knows the song. The song spreads to another neighborhood. If it's a really good song, then it spreads to another neighborhood. Now it spreads to the clubs. Now it's into the mix show. Now somebody's going to come in and invest in this artist, and it all blows up. So we've never forgotten that. Even in the streaming era where it's just like, it's all these big numbers, and I look at all the analytics all day long. But I think the key is to actually pinpoint where it's working. Like, you could have massive numbers, but they could be a crazy widespread, so you don't know where your core fan base is and how to even zero in on your core fan base and build from that level. So I feel like all the big numbers sometimes confuses where, if this person is actually a star, does this person have a real movement going on? Does this person have the potential to really take it there? Because I feel like you could have small numbers, but it could all be coming from Atlanta. And those numbers might be way more important than if you have those numbers from all over these cities, all over America. You can't really zero in. You can't do a show if you only have 100 fans here and 100 fans there. But if you have 10,000 fans in Atlanta, you could definitely go do a show, and it'll probably create a crazier, more impact just in the real world. You take that, you loop it back through the viral. Now everybody is seeing a real movement. And that's what it really takes to kind of just get to the big numbers, the babies, the little baby, which is just like a perfect study of how it all kind of works. You know what I'm saying? As far as Gunna, little numbers growing into Camp, when we started to really get into the digital era, it's just like we saw how those little numbers grew into bigger numbers. I don't think we ever just quantify like, oh, this person has a lot of streams. Because come on, man, we're all in the industry. We know you could buy streams. We know what's going on. We know it's smoke and mirrors.
Well, we're just about out of time, but any final tips for any entrepreneurs out there in the audience that one top tip that you could give to learn from your journey?
Be willing to learn. Step out your box. Get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Do some shit you don't want to do. Do some shit you never thought that you could do, and just go for it. And I think it's just like never stopping. I think that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, from everything that we've been through, it's just like every single day we wake up and go to work. You know what I'm saying? We don't stop. Don't matter if we're at the top of the charts or we're not at the top of the charts. We just go to work every day.
because like cancer, there's always something new to learn. You never know when is that day that you're just going to meet the next big act that you could sign, or when is that day that you're going to make the record. When we made Lottery, it was probably one of the most annoying days of our life. We was on tour, we was in New York, the tour bus couldn't find parking, we was just tired, we couldn't find food. It was just, we were just so frustrated with, in New York has been probably one of the hardest cities to really sell out coming from the South. So we was just like, every time we're in New York, it's anxiety, it's all this going on. Camp was like, yo, I'm just going to go to the studio. Just annoyed, whatever, Lottery.
Right, New York is scary.
Imagine if that day we had just been like, no, we're just going to stay in the hotel all day. We're not going to work. We're annoyed. We're hungry. We just kept the work going. So
and
just
I
don't
had
stop.
Terrible food that day. And I made a hit record. Changed everything.
Well, you heard it here first. Terrible food and a hit record. Thank you guys so much for your time today. And we'll catch y'all soon.